The final US troops departure Afghanistan on Monday shortly before midnight local time, ceding the country to Taliban control ahead of US President Joe Biden August 31 deadline and nearly 20 years after the United States first invaded the country. What's next for Afghanistan? How will evacuation proceed without the US military controlling Kabul airport? What's next for the counter-terrorism mission? How will other regional and global power shape the country the United States leaves behind? We reached out to experts from across the Atlantic Council, many of whom have worked on Afghanistan policy at the highest level of government for their reactions and thought on what comes next. This post will continuously updated as we receive more expert assessment of the withdrawal and its aftermath. Jumps to an expert reaction. William F. Wichlers. Now comes the race against the terrorist. Barely Powell, the war not over. This is what next phase look like. Christopher Prebble, time for hard question. Why did US policy fail? Daniel Fried, the lessons to learn and lots learn. Mr. Sadat, an appealing withdrawal. Brain Otoli, Taliban, carrots and sticks. Thomas S. Virek, how to accelerate refugee processing. R. Clarky Cooper, shaky territory for US alliance. Nilofer Sky, a terrorist safe human again. Mark and Katz, was Afghanistan really different? Barba Slavin, it's time to lead by the example. Now comes the race against the terrorists. The US withdrawal is complete, but our interest and the mission remain, as has been the case since Osama bin Laden moved there from Sudan back in 1996. We have one vital nation security interest in Afghanistan, the need to prevent it from being used as a base from which terrorists can attack American. Unfortunately, the Taliban request has made securing their interest much more of a challenge. We are now in a race with the Taliban Salafi jihad groups there to see who will succeed first. The terrorists in achieving a safe haven and then building their external attack capability or us construction are consistently effective over the horizon counterterrorism program. I didn't know how long it will before this race will be decided, but I suspect we will know the likely result by the end of the President Joe Biden first term. We have other interests there as well, but not vital ones. At the top of that list is the need to ensure the safety of Americans left behind, which reportedly number in the hundred. Many of them choose to stay but will soon become kidnapping target, potentially joining more as hostages being held by the Taliban or adjacent organization in an attempt to maximize their leverage for the negotiation to come. Below that group is need to stand by our former Afghan allies, likely numbering in the tens of thousands. Many of these individuals wanted to depart but were stopped by the Taliban, and some have already gone into hiding. The war not over. This is what the next phase look like. While the United States has officially declared an end-to-end military operation in Afghanistan, military operation will not be a rally to terminated, but will transition to a new phase. The United States still retain vital interest in advocating U.S. citizen and coalition and Afghan allies, and it's preventing additional terrorist attack by Al Qaeda and other. Both of these objects as well as other will require a lot more work a lot more time and additional national resources. The United States also has a lot of work to do to store up its alliance in the wake of poorly executed withdrawal. This too will require new effort of if the United States seek to navigate this dangerous new era in a way that protect American security and prosperity. Barry Pavel is Senior Vice President and Director of the Scowcroft Center for Strategy and Security at the Atlantic Council. Time for hard questioning: why did US policy fail? Now that the US military withdrawal from Afghanistan is finally complete, the American people have a right to ask why US policy were failed to so catastrophically, and these deserve honest answer. If that is uncomfortable for those responsible for chatting, and the lesson to learn and not learn. History confound expectation, especially those made in the immediate aftermath of major events who believed in 1975 when the US withdrew from Saigon that this year. Vietnam would welcome the US Vice President seeking American support against a potentially aggressive China, who expected that the result of American involvement in Iraq would look relatively better than in Afghanistan.